since I have put out a WIP and Chat. And I know that I haven't been giving you guys much lately. I do apologize. And I have to say this, though. I have to thank you guys for being so freaking amazing and, like, actually caring about me. Not just, it feels good when you know people actually care about you. And I've had so many messages recently making sure that I'm okay and just checking on me because I didn't put any content out last week. And the last video I did was the sneak peek a week ago Friday. So that's definitely unusual for me. So anyway, these last few months, y'all, have been something else. Like, I know this year, 2020, has been hard on most of everybody. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, oh, you are dealing with stuff? Okay, let me add some more. Oh, wait, you want more? Okay, here's more. And it's just constant. It's just freaking constant. And it's aggravating. It's frustrating. And all I can do is just try to push through. But that doesn't mean it's not going to slow me down a little bit in the process. So, I've, as you guys know, had health issues. I've had teeth issues. Some other stuff. I've had some issues with Maddie and her blood sugars and just stuff with life. And then obviously these last couple months, like getting the kids on a good schedule for their homeschooling has been, a chore in itself. If you guys have kids at home, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, they're not just, when they're home, it's hard to get that, like, really school atmosphere going. It took a while to really get that in. So, but they're doing much better now. They have a schedule. They're on the schedule, and that's going pretty smooth. Alex had his first quarter of high school, which is insane to me that he's in high school. And so, yeah, he just finished his first quarter of high school last Friday. And he, in middle school, just didn't really care much about his grades. And, part of that was he would say, oh, they don't count. I'm like, yeah, but you have to practice. Like, you can't just go to high school and all of a sudden, do everything. You have to have habits. And so we talked about that a lot. And I have to say, he's kind of blown me away with how he's done. Like, this first quarter, he has like 104% in his Japanese class, which is a hard language. Not easy. It is literally one of the hardest languages to learn. And she called me, actually, and she was like, don't worry. This is not a bad call. It's a good call. He's the top of the class. He has 104%. He always does what he's asked in class. He's respectful. He joins in. And I was just like, it's so nice to get calls like that when normally you're having calls because your son is being a class clown and, those kind of things. So I'm very proud of him for that. And his lowest grade right now is a C in science. He's just having a little harder time with science, but he's doing great in all of his other classes. Like, that the fact that he's got mostly A's is just phenomenal. And I'm so proud that, he is doing the work and participating, listening, and just, because it's sometimes a struggle with him a little bit. Maddie, on the other hand, like, she's been homeschooled since 3rd grade. She's now in 6th grade. So this was like, even though she's still homeschooled, totally different because I did everything before. And definitely she was behind in math. And that was my fault because I'm a dodo head in math. It's kind of hard to teach somebody math, especially when you don't know it. And they learn that crap, Common Core crap, that I have no idea what I'm doing. So, like, she knows, like, how I was taught. So, when she started school, it was like a whole, she gets anxiety and she gets nervous and stressed and she's very shy and she was having a hard time in the beginning of school. And so I contacted the school counselor and kind of just said, hey, she's just struggling a little bit, and I think she could use somebody else's help besides me. And because y'all know, she's an 11-year-old girl, so that should say enough. So she's been working with the counselor, which has been very, very helpful. And Maddie is like ahead of her class in reading, writing, spelling, and then we were surprised to hear she's actually like right on where she should be now in math, for the most part. So that was very good news to hear. She was, and then in reading too, she's ahead of where she should be. So she's doing really, really good. The worst part about schooling with her, I have to say, is just that it's hard for her, I think, to see her brother in high school who doesn't hardly have homework. And so he's done with school by 11:50, and then the rest of the day is supposed to be for homework. And if he doesn't have any homework or he gets it done early, it's a struggle for her to see him not have to be doing something and her being like working really hard for, a few hours past where he is, because she has to do like 30 minutes of a program called Lexia, 30 minutes of a program called Mathia, and then Dropbox, and then she's supposed to read for 30 minutes, and then she has something called Read Theory. So she had most of this is like every day, and so it's a lot. And so yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, it's even frustrating for me because I'm like, dang, you're in high school and you barely ever have homework? What? That was not the case when I was in high school, but we also weren't in a pandemic then, so, everything's kind of different now. But, so Maddie wanted to take art. That was the elective she wanted to take. Well, and the teacher thought that there was an opening, and so he told her there was, she got the last spot. Well, when school started, it was obvious that she didn't get into the art class, and so she was put in band, and she just kind of dealt with it. She's not one that's always going to stick up and say anything, and so she just dealt with it, and she didn't really tell me, she told me she wasn't, thrilled with it, and she was only going to do it for this year, and, but then when we got her instrument, she decided to do the clarinet. We went and picked her instrument up and came home, and she just, she put it down in her closet and, didn't even get it out. And I was like, that's not a sign that you want, because normally you get a new instrument that you're going to learn to play. You, go home and take it out and look at it and kind of mess with it and everything. And she didn't. She just didn't. She was not interested in it at all. And so the next day, after band, she was, just frustrated. She didn't want to play anyways, but she was just going to deal with it like she is. I'm like, no, this is silly. So I'm like, I'll just talk to the counselor. So I called the counselor, and I'm like, I kind of told her, I'm like, Maddie doesn't even know I'm talking to you, so I'm not going to tell her anything until we know for sure. But is there any way we can get her, in strings? Because Maddie was saying she would have been much happier playing the cello or a violin. Mind you, I played the cello all through school. So she wanted to do that. And so the counselor was like, I'll see what I can do. And sure enough, she was able to switch. So now she is playing, but she couldn't get the cello because they didn't have any more to rent. So she actually was really happy because she said she wanted to play the violin anyways. And she was just more so going to play the cello because she knew that she thought it would make me happier. So, but I'm just thrilled that she gets to do something she's excited about. So when we went to pick her violin up, of course, she did exactly what I assumed she would do, and come home and mess with it, play with it, fiddle with it, ask me stuff. I showed her some stuff, and so she's playing the violin this year. So that is very cool. However, so she started playing, she's like, I'm bad. I'm like, everybody is bad at this, especially when it comes to the violin, because it's high and squeaky, and so it's just something that takes time to get used to. But and I didn't play the violin, I played the cello, so obviously there's a difference there. But I've been actually practicing on the violin every day so that I can, one, help her, and I just enjoy playing. So it's been kind of fun doing that, but it's hard too because when you play a stringed instrument, you can't have nails, y'all. Like, you can't. These suckers, like, it's not compatible. But I just kind of fiddle with it, so it's, it is what it is. Then my nails aren't always this long. Just depends on, like, how I do them and stuff, because sometimes I do them short, sometimes I do them long. Just depends on my mood. But yeah. So that's kind of been what's going on. Seth has been working. His work has been slower, but he's still working, like, same hours as normal and everything. So that's good. So, we're good. We're good on that front. Last month was rough for me, though, with the shop, because so I closed down for a week with my my tooth, because when I had that tooth removed, it was like a whole, like, oral surgery. They had to go in and, like, I'm not going to go into it because there's people that'll be like, squeamish. But basically, I had a hole from the inside of my mouth up into my sinus cavities because the tooth was so deep. And they had to, like, put stitches up there and everything, and it was just, it was not an easy thing. And then, because they had to break the tooth apart to get it out, a piece of tooth got left in the hole, and then he sutured it up. Didn't know there was a piece of tooth in there. And, because it wasn't very big. I don't blame him. Like, I really don't. Because I don't know how he would have known. But anyway. So, it was still, like, really sore, and I'm like, dang, this is weird. This is, much harder than I thought it was going to be. Because I can't take, like, narcotic pain medication or anything. So I'm like, dang, this is harder than I thought. And I'm, like, kind of getting worried because I'm having my top teeth removed and getting dentures. And so I'm like, oh, man, I don't want to deal with all this pain on all my teeth. But I ended up, so then I got infected. And I'm like, that's odd. So I got on antibiotics. And then, like, 3.5 weeks after the tooth was pulled, all of a sudden, like, I felt this, like, little sharp thing, and I'm like, that's weird. It must be a stitch. One of the sutures, like, didn't dissolve or something. And so I went up and I got my tweezers, and I went to grab the what I thought was a stitch, and I pulled out a piece of the tooth. And I'm like, oh, well, there you go. So after that happened, it finally healed, which was great. I still have other teeth that bother me. And get infected and stuff, but nothing was compared to that tooth. That one, man, had, like, the Grand Canyon hole in it. It was ridiculous. Like, and right up in the gum line. So the nerve, it was bad. It was bad. So I'm glad that got taken care of. But, yeah. But these last couple days have been horrible. It feels very surreal, because I just never imagined this happening, but, Friday night, the dogs just got fed, and there was a piece of dog food under the counter, and mind you, neither one of the dogs have food aggression or anything like that. Never have they fought, ever. And, anyways, both of them, like, so Lincoln went to get this piece of food that was under the counter, and me and him have this little thing, like, I'll come up behind him and I'll go, woo, and I'll kind of scratch him, and not hard, like, and he'll be like, and he'll jump around, like I startle him, kind of a thing. Well, so he was going for this piece of food, and as he went for the food and I went, Eli came around the corner, and his head was just right there when Lincoln, like, turned to go at me playing. And Eli took it as, like, I think as kind of a, this is my assumption anyway. Eli took it as kind of like a challenge, like, back off, that's my food. And Eli is the pack leader in this house, well, besides me, but he is dominant over Lincoln. And so when he did that, Lincoln, he just flipped. This switch flipped in Eli, and he attacked him. Just full on attacked him. So then I had this dog fight happening in my dining room. And so I'm trying to, break it up. But when dog fights are very dangerous. So please don't hear my story and try to do anything, like I did. Like, it's just, they can be very bad. So I'm just going to say that. Anyways, as I used to work with dogs as a trainer with, I was an assistant trainer, and I did it for 2.5 years. And, so I, was around dogs. I've been around things like this. And so for the most part, like, as much as you can be prepared, like I was, but not fully, because I guess I was naive thinking that they would never get in a fight because they just they get along so well together. Now Eli has a tendency to fight with other dogs, and when he kind of just snaps, like he's fine, and then they do something and he's like not fine, and he will fight like to the death. Like, he is hardcore. And anyway, so I knew this, but he never ever did anything to Lincoln. Like, and even Stephanie, his mom, his owner, because he just stays with us. Anyways, his owner even said one time, like, man, the only dog I ever would trust Lincoln with 100% is, the only dog I would ever trust Eli with 100% would be Lincoln, because they just have that relationship where Lincoln and Eli just would not fight. And so I had that kind of naive thinking in my head that because it's Lincoln, he won't do anything. Well, that was false. So I have this full-on dog fight happening, and I'm trying to break it up, but it is not easy because I'm in a fairly small space. I don't have a big enough, like, blanket that was, I don't have a broom. I don't have a loud bat. We have this bat at work that was full of beans, and you shake it, and it's very loud, and it kind of snaps them out just for a second, usually enough to grab them and separate them, but I had none of that. And so basically, like, I just had to grab Eli and just hold him, and just kind of just hold him there and wait. And in the process, I got a little bite on my finger. It's not bad. It's just right here. But dang, that thing was deep enough. It bled for like 10 hours. It was crazy. I was like, dang, this is never going to stop bleeding. It was a puncture wound, so obviously it needed to bleed to get whatever could have been in it. And I cleaned it and put Neosporin in it and all that stuff, so don't worry. But anyway, so I was holding Eli, and I know Stephanie had told me, like, the only way to get him off is to basically choke him out, to make him pass out, because he, like I said, he will fight, to the death. And in that play, like, he is such an obedient dog, but when they're in that, like, instinct mode, they don't hear you, they don't know anything that's going on. The reason people get bit during dog fights by their own dogs, mind you, is because dogs don't know what they're doing in a fight. They just, like, instinct takes over, and they don't know who or what they're biting. They're just biting. And then, of course, Lincoln is reacting because he's being attacked. So Lincoln is then fighting to protect himself. And so they're both going at it. They're both, by the way, like 70-plus pound dogs. They're not small. Eli is a pit bull, and Lincoln is a half pit, half German short hair. And so they're big, strong dogs. And so, yeah, so basically I was like, all right, I guess that's, what I'm going to have to do. Anyway, so I finally got my hand, like, kind of right under Eli's throat, and I just put pressure there. And I just kind of held it and waited and waited and waited and waited. Seemed like freaking eternity. Anyway, Seth had a towel, and right when he, like, I could feel, like, his head getting a little bit heavy in my hand, I was like, do it. So Seth put the towel under his stomach and pulled him back, and I was able to pull Lincoln away. And Lincoln, of course, as soon as I got Eli off of him, Lincoln like ran for the other side of the house. And then as soon as we got Eli off, he just had that face like, oh crap, like, what did I just do, kind of a thing. And he went to the other side of the house and was cowering. And I took Lincoln into my bedroom so that he was, felt safe and calm and everything. And I went in there and kind of checked him over, making sure he was okay. And I mean, he had bite marks. Obviously, he got his ear pretty bit. I'm going to be taking them to the vet on Monday because I just want to make sure everything's, okay. But anyway, he was okay. So I went and checked Eli, and Eli had some pretty gnarly bite marks. Like, man, Lincoln, you guys, he's a chicken. He's the baby. Like, he is the one that will run if anything goes down. But he's a big dog. He's a strong dog. So when instinct takes over like that, he can do some damage. And he did some damage. And so I got peroxide on both of all their wounds and all that stuff. Put Neosporin on everything. And Eli's almost out of his food. So I'm like, okay, when he's out of his food, he's going to go home for a while because he comes and goes. And he's been here now for, since like the middle of July, I think it was. So he's been here a long, long time. And he's not ours. And, if I had a house, I always said if I had a house, I would take him. But where we are in the apartment, we cannot have more than 2 dogs. And, we are still wanting to get Maddie a puppy to be a service dog. And unfortunately, Eli is, as you can see, there's reasons why he would not make a service dog. And also, he's too old. Anyways. But yeah, so anyways, so then the dogs are fine. They're like literally laying together, like, licking each other and fine. I didn't let them play because they're both wounded. And, I didn't want them to be, fight from being accidentally getting, you know what I mean. Anyways, so everything was okay. And then tonight came. And they always go to my neighbors to get fed at dinner time. And so I'm getting ready to take him over, and I take Lincoln. He's waiting by the door like he normally does. And I come back to get Eli. And as I open the door to get Eli, I'm just getting the leash to put it on him. And the neighbor dog runs out. Mind you, every other time she has checked to make sure my dogs aren't there. And it's just... And because they're in that like hypersensitive mode because they had just fought, like Lincoln runs to Paco because they're friends. So he runs over to the dog to like say hello, but Lincoln barks because he's excited. Eli was like, nope. And Eli pushed me, went through the door, like pushed the door open, ran over and basically just jumped on Lincoln. And so, and by the way, when he was starting to run out the door, I yelled out to my neighbor, get your dog in the house now. Because I did not want them to be involved in anything. And I knew, I just had that instinct, like, this isn't good. Because because they're hypersensitive, Lincoln barked at another dog. Eli has, again, lost it. And because I also had yelled, like, no, and he didn't stop and turn. So he was already, like, gone. Anyway, so they're fighting, and I knock on the neighbor's door. I was like, do you have a blanket? And, because sometimes if you throw a blanket over them, it kind of is lights out for a second. They don't know, what's going on, and so they stop just long enough to where you can separate them. But the blanket that she gave me was just not working. It wasn't big enough. It was too soft. You need something that's more weighted. If you have dogs that fight often, by the way, getting a weighted blanket is really good because you can throw it over the top of them and the weight kind of comes down around their faces. They can't breathe if they're biting, and so they have to release. And then you just have to be ready when they release to separate them. But my son heard it, and so he ran inside to get my husband so that he could help me. and get another leash so that we could try to get them. Well, they are just full on just going at it again. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is not happening. They fought for like 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. And it felt like a freaking eternity. And I'm just doing everything I can to get them to split it up. And my son finally brings me a leash, and I am able to get it under Eli's stomach, like kind of like around his hind legs, to lift his hind legs up, so that he doesn't have that balance and that strength to shake, at least. And so I got him up, but Lincoln, because, you know, he just had a dog jump on him, he's fighting too. And so Lincoln's not letting go either. And so my husband had the blanket that he was trying to get up and around him, which wasn't working. I kept saying, like, you know, use the leash, use the leash. I don't know why he didn't, but he didn't. And so I finally, like, well, there was a couple points where I had both their collars, but it was just, like, I had to let go, because I knew the second I turned, I was gonna get bit. And so I had to let go a couple times of them, and which is frustrating, because then you feel like you have to start over. And I did get bit once on the leg, but luckily they instantly knew. Like, a lot of times dogs don't know when they're biting you, and so they'll, you know, you can get really, really hurt. And it was just a quick bite, and it wasn't bleeding or anything. It was just, but I mean, there's gonna be some nice bruising there, but it's not a big deal. But anyway. Finally, like, they're just going, but they're wearing out, and I couldn't breathe. Like, my asthma kicked in, and I could not breathe, and I'm just like, I can't breathe. So finally, I get them apart, and Seth takes Lincoln inside, and I have Eli outside, you know, and I'm like sitting down, like trying to catch my breath, because I just could not breathe. Finally, so Lincoln, they put him in the bedroom, so I came in with Eli to get my inhaler, and realized, yeah, my inhaler was in my purse that got stolen. Great, right? So I'm like literally having an asthma attack, cannot breathe. Finally, I'm like, okay, I gotta go get my nebulizer, so I had to go and set my nebulizer up, and while I can't breathe. And so I'm setting that up. If you don't know, nebulizer is just like a breathing machine. It takes the medication and turns it into vaporizing, and so it's basically like vaping medication. And so, like, yeah, that's the closest I'm gonna get to vaping anything. Anyway, so I finally got that hooked up, so I did that, and I was able to catch my breath and everything. But man, my asthma, like, if you hear this, I sound like I've been smoking all my life, because my asthma is it just has been insane since then. And I've used the nebulizer 3 times, and it makes you, it's basically like, it's almost like like you're getting adrenaline, and because it's opening your airways. So it makes you like really shaky, and it can make you, sometimes it'll make me really tired, and other times it makes you like really hyper almost. And this time I just haven't been able to sleep. Like, I'm not like hyper, but I don't know, I'm just not tired, which is weird, because I'm usually always tired at nighttime. I just don't sleep a lot, because I just don't, because of Maddie. But tonight I'm just not tired, so I was like, you know what, I haven't recorded WIP and Chat in a while, so I'm gonna do that. So I decided I would do that, and I've gotten so many messages from y'all, like, asking if I'm okay, and wondering if I'm going to be putting videos out this week, and saying that they, you know, they missed the video. So that made me feel good. That helped kind of ease the day that I had, or the couple days that I had. And so yeah, that was nice. And I didn't go live last night because the DP-a-thon was going on, and I wasn't doing the DP-a-thon. And so I didn't want to I didn't want to go on when somebody else was going on, because I just felt like I don't want to do that. I don't want to take people away from the DP-a-thon to come to my live. And you know, I want those creators, especially like the newer creators, to get their, you know, get their name out there. And so I just decided to not go live last night, but I am going to go live on Monday. So be watching for that. I'm not sure on the time, but I'm thinking it'll probably be 6:30 or 7, but I also might do like a live in the morning, midday, for those of you that are in a different country, because I've gotten a lot of requests to do a earlier live, like an earlier in the day live, so that you guys can come, and it's not like the middle of the night for you. So, and so I am gonna do that, but I have a doctor appointment on Monday at 4:15. So hopefully that will be like a quick one, and I can get home and hopefully go live like at 6:30 or something. So yeah, so this is annoying. I accidentally put my ABs and 2 different colors of blue. How I did this, don't know. Probably late night diamond painting, I would imagine. But either way, it's very annoying. Very, very, very annoying. So I have to, like, you know, pick them apart. I can't use my multi-placer as much because they're not lined up right next to each other, which is annoying, but whatevs. That's what happens when you diamond paint late in the night, right? Because that's what I do. Like, that's just what I do. So, anyway. Oh, what's under there? Okay. So normally I put my drills in the key. So I'll basically like, oh, I don't have mine right now. My other one that I just finished. I super glue one drill next to the number. That way, if I have this happen, I can compare them and I know what color goes to what symbol. And it is so handy, and it has saved me so many times. Like, it's, yeah, trust me. If you have a problem with like mixing your drills, dropping your drills, or anything like that, knowing what they are by being able to compare that is like, yeah, it's life-changing with diamond painting, I tell you. So I usually do that, but I just haven't this time. I don't know why. I just haven't. I did a couple of them, and I just haven't finished. So, but yeah. And these are 2 blues that are like all over this painting. Like, they are very, very common color. And I don't typically do one drill at a time. When there's a lot of colors, like, you know, color blocking areas, because it takes longer. And I like my multi-placer. I like my 6-placer. I don't usually go over 6 with, rounds, just because they're, I don't know, they're just not as easy to do, but, I like my 6-placer a lot. With squares, I like my 9-placer. Like, that's probably my most used one with square paintings. But square drills line up differently, and so it's kind of easier. I know some people think it's harder, or they think it would be harder if they haven't tried it, but it's really not. It's really not. And there's nothing wrong with doing one drill at a time. I mean, it's really relaxing, and I still enjoy it. It's just, you know, it just takes longer. So, and Lord knows I've got so many paintings that I want to get done, and not enough time in the day. Not enough time in the day. I finished, and I haven't done the review. I need to do the review on both the Randall Spangler Bubble Bubble Chocolate Trouble and on Sweet Tooth. And because they're both from DAC, I might do them in like the same video. But I finished that one in like a week, and it was so cute, you guys. Like, I am totally in love with the coloring on it. especially on the bottom. There's like the fire and then like the cobblestone and then the cauldron. And those colors are gorgeous. Like the way they charted it up was like phenomenal. It's so, so pretty. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. That's my first Randall Spangler diamond painting that I finished. Or worked on at all, period. So, and this is Hannah Lynn, by the way. If you didn't pick that up, this is by Diamond Art Club. It is a Hannah Lynn painting, and the name of this one is A Savior is Born. So, when I got it, my plan when I bought it was to do it in November so that I had it done by December when I decorate my house with all my Christmas stuff, because I'm going to frame it and then enjoy it over the Christmas season. So last year I did the Christmas tree, and I did it like during, Christmas, which is fine because it's fun to work on Christmas paintings during Christmas time, which I probably will do that again. However, then when I finished the tree, like there was only a few days left of Christmas, so you don't get to enjoy it as long. And I didn't frame it yet, so I'm actually going to be framing quite a few pieces here. I'm just waiting for this sale because Michaels has really good sales on some of their really big frames. And so I'm just waiting for that half off sale to happen so that I can frame, because I want to frame Sweet Tooth and put her in my closet. And I want to frame the Christmas tree from last year and put that in my dining room. And then I want to frame this one and put it either in my kitchen or my living room. I'm not sure yet. And then I also have the Nutcracker, which is my other Christmas one for this year. So I'll be working on the Nutcracker probably in December, I'm going to think. I'm thinking I'm going to work on it in December because I don't have another Christmas one yet that I've planned. So not that I couldn't get one, but I really do like the Nutcracker. And y'all know, like, I'm obsessed with Hannah Lynn. Obsessed. I love her. I will buy every single one of her diamond paintings. She is just, I don't know. I've never seen one of her paintings that I didn't like. Now, there have been some I didn't like as much and some I was like completely in love with, but I've never come across one I didn't want. Like, I love them all. I love them all. I wish that Rapunzel and the one that just came out, I can't remember what it's called right now. Anyways, I wish they weren't quite that big though. I like them good size, don't get me wrong. But, like this size, it's a good size. This one is I think it's a 51 by 71, I think. Yeah, 51 by 71. Plenty big enough to where you get all the detail and it looks really nice. But it still fits on my table. The new Rapunzel one and the one that just came out are not going to fit on my diamond painting desk. They're just not. I'm going to have to either like work on it at the kitchen table or at the coffee table or something, because they ain't going to fit on my desk. I'll tell you that. When I was unboxing it, I had to take it to my bedroom and put it on my bed because there was just no way that I was going to be able to show y'all when it's on my desk. It's just too big. So I kind of wish that was smaller. I really wish that they were a smaller size, but there could be a good reason for that. So who knows? Who knows? It's the only frustrating thing about it, because I don't care that it's big. Like, that's fine. Bigger it is, the longer it takes me to do, and that's okay. And especially, like, for the people that don't have a ton of diamond paintings, it's nice when they take you longer, because then you don't have to worry about what you're going to do next. I always am worried about what I'm going to do next, because I can never decide. Because I always want to do so many at one time, but that doesn't work very well for me. I usually end up like leaving one in the dust. Like I did with the starfish. I was like, I need one that doesn't have so much color blocking for a little while. Like, I just want to work on one for a little while without all the color blocking. And I really wanted to do Sweet Tooth anyways, because, I mean, come on, look at it. And so I was like, I'll just put it away and I'll kind of do both. Well, yeah, I've done Sweet Tooth, Chocolate Trouble, or Bubble Chocolate Trouble, sorry. And I'm now working on A Savior is Born, and haven't touched the starfish one. And I really want to finish that one because I think it's gorgeous and I want to put it in my bathroom. And I love color blocking. It's not like I don't like color blocking. It was just, there was so much color blocking. And it's nice when a painting has both color blocking and confetti. Because, you know, it keeps your interest. But it's not like super frustrating unless you love confetti, which is fine. Some people do. I'm not one of those people. I like it, but just not the whole thing, you know. I like this. This is the perfect mixture for me. Had to get a drink. Excuse me. Anyway. So yeah, this is the perfect mixture because it has drills that are together. They're not all speckly through the whole thing. So if you don't know what color blocking or confetti means, like color blocking is pretty self-explanatory. It means you have blocks of color together. Confetti is like sprinkles. It's when, if you were to take them and kind of sprinkle them around and they're, you know, there's no clumps of color. It's all like one drill. You don't have, you know, the same color in more than one space, basically. And so it takes longer. You get a lot more detail with those ones, but it takes, you know, a lot longer, and it's annoying because you think you've got them all. You put the color away, and then they have a baby. And there's more. It's like, quit it! It can get a little frustrating. But my favorite painting actually was like one of the most confetti-filled pictures I've ever done, which is Maddie and Maya. That one, oh man, the confetti on that one. And that one is big. It's big. I can't remember how big. I just know it's really big. But that one's, it turned out, even though I'm not a huge fan of the company I got it from, it turned out really, really, really good. It's really cute. If I remember, I'll try to insert a picture of it in here so that you guys can see it. But it's really cute. It turned out beautifully. And it's a great like little reminder of Maya. Because Maya, if you're new, Maya passed on in December from liver failure. And she was my daughter's service dog. So. And then, of course, Sweet Tooth, I think, is my favorite after Maddie and the dog. So, okay, I can't find a color. I can't remember. I don't even see the, oh, there it is. Okay, so, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Okay, so the darker ones on here are the C's. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember. I didn't want to accidentally do it wrong. Wouldn't want that. Because, that's one of the worst things when you put drills down on the wrong symbol. And you have to go through with the tweezers and just, like, pick at them apart. It's so annoying. I had to do that on this one. And I think it was the last, was it the Randall Spangler? Huh. I don't remember. But I just know, yeah. Lost my train of thought. It's annoying to have to pick them off. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I was going to say. It's also annoying, like, if you spill your drills on the sticky stuff and you have to pull them all off, which I did. Last week, I accidentally spilled all my white ABs, like, right on a fresh spot, and they went all over and stuck to it, and it took me forever to get all of them back up. I was like, gah, you can't spill where it's not sticky. Come on. You want to be stuck. Oh, another thing that has happened in the household. I will have to make a video about it, but Maddie has always wanted rats. Well, not always. I can't say always, I guess. For the last 3 years, she's wanted one. Ever since one of her friends had one, she's wanted one. And I've said, no, and basically that. Well, I didn't want to spend money on another animal, and, she really wanted one. She really wants a ferret, which, no. Nothing against ferrets, but I'm not going to be the one taking care of a ferret, and they stink, and they're expensive, and I'm just not there, especially with dogs and a cat that will kill everything and anything that it gets around, and ferrets tend to escape, and, anyway. Okay, so we've said no. Well, on Monday, I was going to get the mail, and my upstairs neighbor, which I know pretty well, came down and was like, hey, my granddaughter has a rat that, well, she actually had 2 rats. She had 2 rats that she needed to rehome due to allergies and also not having the time to spend with them, because rats are really social creatures. Like, they need that to thrive, and so she just knew that it was time. So she's like, they come with the cage, they come with the food, they come with it was like 2 months of food, they come with all the bedding that would probably last at least a month, and so I was like, well, I'll talk, I'll think about it, I'll talk to my husband. So I kind of told Maddie, asked her, and she was, of course, like, over the moon, excited about it, and wanted him really bad. And so I told her she wanted him. She was going to have to kind of do the research, figure out how much she would need a month to, sustain them, get them their, whatever they need. And she can take over walking the neighbor dog, because they pay me like $40 a month, which I've told them they don't have to, but I think it makes them feel better, But, so yeah, I make $10 a week walking Paco for about 10 to 15 minutes a day on Monday through Friday. And, so I told her she could have that job, and pay, and because she would need to pay for them. And anything extra she would need to set aside for, like, if there was a vet bill or something like that. So, I told her she needed to do all that, do some research, learn a little bit about him, and then I said, if you want him that bad, you need to ask your dad. Mind you, Maddie is very, very, like, reserved and shy, especially, like, when she wants something like that, and with me, she's not, because me and her were together all the time. Her and her dad, it's totally different. She never asks her dad for anything, because she's always afraid he'll say no. So I told her, you need to ask dad. And she was like, okay. So the fact that she did that, like, I knew she really wanted him. So, which I knew anyways, but I honestly didn't think she would. I thought she was going to try to convince me to do it, because she just doesn't like doing that kind of stuff. But I told her, like, if you want to do that, you need to show, enough responsibility to be able to talk to dad. And I said, I can be there if you want me to, but you need to be the one doing it. Anyway, so she set my husband go home. All day, she's just, like, frantic about it. She's like, he's going to say no. He's going to say no. He always says no. And I'm like, you never know. He might say yes. You just never know. And so, he got home, and she, was, like, bursting. So she was like, I'm going to wait till he makes his coffee. Because he always comes home and gets a cup of coffee. So he, like, went in the bedroom for a while, and she's like, why hasn't he made his coffee? I'm like, chill out. So, all right, take a breath. So he came out, made his coffee, and she went and started talking to him, and she, you know, had showed she'd done her research, and so she was very surprised when my husband just turned and was like, yeah, okay. You're responsible enough, and you don't ask us for much, so yeah, I think that's fine. So we brought the rats home, and we took both of them. One of them is super friendly and loves to be, you know, with people. The other one they had rescued, and it was really like, it was not friendly. It didn't ever come out of the cage. Like, basically it was just there, and she was just, you know, feeding it and providing it with a home. But it was not, you know, it didn't do anything, basically. Well, Clover, which was the friendlier one, she, when she would come out of the cage, her cage, because they had separate cages because they also fought, the other one fought with Clover, and Clover just would, like, always run over to the cage and, like, be on, you know, the wire on the outside of the cage, because you could tell she just really craved that, like, attention by the other rat. And we even tried to put them together, but they just, it wasn't immediate, but after a little while, I think her name was Cola. Yeah. Because they were Cola and Cherry when we got them, but we changed names. But her name was Cola. Cola immediately attacked Clove. And so we had to separate them again. And I'm like, Maddie, we're not doing 3 rats. Like, that's too many. Like, we just got them. Like, we're still learning about them. And, you know, you're the one paying for them. And no, we're not doing 3 because Clove really needed to have a playmate. If you know much about rats, they need another rat to be with. They just do to thrive and be really happy and healthy. It's just something they need. So Maddie was doing the research on that. Anyways, so we talked to the upstairs neighbor and basically told her, like, I don't think it's going to work out with the one, because the main thing, too, was that we could not get her out of her cage so that we could clean her cage. And she has bitten many times in the past. And so that was, you know, that was tough, because it was like, how are we going to get her out to clean her cage? We tried, it just didn't work. It was not working at all. And so, you know, we made the decision to talk to the upstairs neighbor, kind of told her what we were thinking, you know, said we weren't really sure what to do and what she thought. And she immediately was like, why don't you bring her back up here? Then you guys, you know, can get another one if you would like. And she's like, we totally understand. She's like, we're really grateful that you took the one. And so we gave the one back. We gave Cola back to them. And Cola was an easy rat. Like, she didn't need attention. She didn't want attention, and from people or from other rats. And so she basically just needed somebody to clean her cage, take care of her, feed her, get her water, like, and that, you know, she was happy with that. So she was the easier one. Clove was the one that needed attention and, you know, was craving companionship and all of that. And so they totally understood. They were super nice about it, because we felt really bad, because we are not like the type of people that, like, get an animal and then return it, like, right away. It's like, that's not, it's just, you know, but I knew that it was better to do that, especially, like, right away, because I didn't want Maddie to get attached. Even though she couldn't, like, play with it or anything, you know, you get attached to things, and I knew that. And so, anyway, so we gave it back, and we had Clove, and we then got another baby. Not another baby. Clove's not a baby. We got a baby, and she was rescued off of a one of those spider traps. You know, those spider traps. They're like really sticky. The spider crawls on it and gets stuck. She was actually rescued off a spider trap. She had walked on it and was stuck on it. And so the workers had, it was actually at a pet store. And anyways, yeah, so they were able to get her off. They didn't think she was going to make it, but they brought her to the vet and they were able to rehab her and get her like, you know, totally healthy and, ready for adoption. And so we adopt her, on Thursday and, put them together, and they are so happy and cute, and it's so adorable. They like play together all the time, then they sleep together and they cuddle up together, and they're just really, really, really sweet. And so I know we did the right thing for Maddie, for me, for the upstairs neighbor, for Clove. It was definitely the right thing to do. So that was, you know, reassuring. But yeah, so Maddie was like, I don't know what to name it. And so she went on my TikTok and showed Sage and said, you know, put your name requests in the comments and then vote on them. And whoever has the most likes will win. And Ariel, Devious Diamonds on here, she's one of my moderators. And she had put in Sage, and so Sage won, which it was really cute. Clove and Sage, like, it's adorable. I love it. I really do like their names. Fits them well. So, anyways, so that's been going on. Maddie's been, you know, and with bringing Eli back tomorrow, I think it's a good timing that she was able to get the rats, because they will help kind of distract her from that, because Eli and Maddie are very close. And Eli helps Maddie a lot with, like, her anxiety, and, you know, he, like, lays on her and stuff. And so, yeah, it's going to be harder, I think, for her than anybody else. But, you know, it's still, she knows it's for the best, you know, for now anyways. And we were going to be taking him home anyways soon, just so that he had, you know, could go back for a while, because he's almost out of food. So, you know, yeah, but she's pretty upset, and, you know, hopefully we can get her that dog soon. Some of the, money for the dog had to be used for some of her medical things, and so we're still working at that, and I'm kind of hoping, like, and I don't know if this is going to be possible in the slightest, but I'm kind of hoping if I can do it, that I could maybe get her, you know, get it one for Christmas. We didn't want to do it in the cold weather, because of, like, potty training and everything, but with Eli going home and not knowing if that's going to work out for him to come back again, I think we can handle them in the winter time if we need to. Because it would be great for Maddie, and it would also be great for Lincoln, because Lincoln got super depressed when Maya died, and then he just, like, when Eli was here, he just lit up and was happy, and, you know, and everything. So it'll be good for Lincoln when we can get a new puppy. But, you know, time will tell. If it doesn't happen at Christmas, it'll happen when it happens, and we just gotta be patient, and I'm not gonna do it unprepared. I'm not gonna do it until, you know, I know we have the certain amount of money for vet bills and like all of that, because, you know, it can be animals are not cheap. Like, they're just not. They're, you know, they come with needs, just like kids do. And so many people, like, rush out to get an animal and don't know how to take care of it and end up having to give it up. Our neighbor, she is, like, I don't know, she's got a temper on her. She always is yelling, I swear. Every time I see her, like, getting out of her car and going to her house, she's always cussing out her kids. And her kids are like 4 and 5-ish, maybe 6. They're young. And she's always like telling them, you know, shut the F up. And like, she's just always cussing out her kids. I don't know why. But anyways, they had a part lab, part boxer named Gemini, and she was adorable. Like, oh, I loved her. She was so sweet, but she, there were times, like, I mean, they got called on to the office numerous times by different people because Gemini would be, like, in the, window, like, just crying and basically just, like, screaming. We heard her in our apartment, and they're, like, over, I would say, like, maybe 50 feet-ish, maybe more. I'm probably more. I'm really bad with, like, that kind of stuff, but, oh, she was just crying and crying. Anyways, they ended up at 9 months old giving her away. And, they just couldn't do it. And so now they have when I was outside the other day walking Paco last week, they now have a border collie puppy. I'm like, it's frustrating when you see people get animals that you know they just turned another animal in, and you kind of see it happening again, like, and also messing that animal up, especially because she would leave it for like 10 hours at a time. And that's why it would just cry and cry and cry. So it's like, it's frustrating when you see somebody get a pet that isn't taking care of it. And there's, you know, nothing I can do. I told her if she needed any help with like training or, you know, anything, that I was here and willing to help. So that's all I can do, but it's just kind of frustrating. Oh, but the puppy is adorable. I think her name was Annie. I can't remember, but she's adorable. Border Collies are like one of my absolute favorite breeds. I just love them. But, and then somebody else in the complex got a golden retriever puppy for post-traumatic stress disorder. So they got a little golden retriever puppy to train as a service dog. And of course, I was very jealous because golden retrievers are also one of my top favorites. It's like golden retrievers and then border collies. They are it for me. Like, I love them. Anyways, and his name is Duncan, and he's like the sweetest little thing. He's getting so big already, but oh my gosh, he's so sweet. And soft and cute. If I remember, I'll try to put his picture right here, because I did take a picture. It's not the best picture of him, just because he was like crazy moving, like super excited. But it's still like, oh, he's just adorable. Adorable. And I see him a lot because they walk him right around the same time I take Paco out. So I get to see them sometimes. And then I get to come and brag to Maddie. I got to see Duncan. And then she'll be like, I'm going to go with you tomorrow. It's funny. Because I was walking him every day. Now she is, so. Now I got to figure out how to get off my big butt and do some exercising. I'm just kidding. I'll just take our dogs out one more time during the day than I normally do. I love this, like, right here. It's like the material that goes over her head. I kind of like how it's like, I don't know. Don't listen to me. It's late. I'm, like, deprived of sleep. So don't listen to me, okay? It's 5 o'clock in the mañana. 5 o'clock in the morning. And this video has now gone for an hour. So I should probably cut it here because y'all are probably sick of hearing me talking by now. I mean, let's get real. It's been an hour. That's probably as much as you can take of shine. I mean, I'm a little bit kooky. A little kooky. So, I will get off here. I'm going to keep working on this bad boy. But don't forget, I am going live on Monday. I have some super cute new cover minders to show. And I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. And hopefully I'll see if I can get this up today. Hopefully I will see you guys in the DP-a-thon. But yeah, other than that, as always, don't forget, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and you are definitely, definitely loved more than you know. So with that, keep on shining, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys!
Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already and would like to subscribe, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and the bell icon to be notified when I put up a new video.